What's up, guys? Steve Peterson here, doing a little update on the Veloster project with the front reverse hood hinge, and just going to talk about some of the things I've got going on. Apologize about my voice. Been kind of sick for the past couple days, sore throat, that kind of thing. But this is my 2014 Hyundai Veloster Turbo, and I am at not my garage. I'm at a fab shop. Actually, my dad's shop. We've been working on designing a reverse open hood hinge, so my hood will open forward instead of the conventional way. It's been quite the project so far, but we've been moving along. As you can see currently, my upper core support for my radiator is removed, and I just thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about some of the things that I've got going on my build and show you what some things look like with a bumper off the car. I appreciate everybody for following along so far, all the comments and such. So here we go. Let me get the camera flipped around. Okay, so what we've got going on, normally the radiator, upper radiator core support goes across here, and then you've got your conventional hood latch in the middle. And a couple years ago, when I rear-ended an F-250, I did quite a bit of damage to the front of my car. I took that opportunity to basically redo my whole front end. I made a custom front crash bar, and I made mounts for the oil cooler. At that time, I also upgraded my radiator to the all-aluminum Megan Racing radiator. And I basically built my own aluminum upper core support. Now, that sufficed for this past year and a half, almost 2 years now. And basically, ever since I did that upper core support, I had the idea of designing that forward opening hood. So I wanted my hood to open kind of like a Corvette. With that being said, this past week or so, I've been in the process of basically designing a hinge, as you can see here, that's going to bolt to the front of the core support, and then the hood is going to bolt on here, and it's going to open forward. So basically, with that being said, I've got the upper core support off here. I want to talk a little bit about the fitment on the Megan Racing radiator. This is an all aluminum OEM direct fit radiator. This will only fit the manual transmission models. If you were to try to put this on an automatic, it will not work because it does not have the connections over on the side for the oil cooler lines that run to the transmission, or the transmission cooler lines. So a manual transmission is the only way that you can run this this radiator. It is an all aluminum radiator. Megan Racing makes this. There's quite a few places on the internet you can buy it. I think Vivid Racing sells it, and some other places. It is a direct fit. You basically take the OEM radiator out and swap the Megan Racing one in. All of the OEM mounts, the rubber grommets and everything, switch right over. My only complaint out of this radiator was the aluminum tabs that they have welded on for the AC condenser were kind of crappy. They were just a little flimsy, and they didn't exactly line up with the AC condenser mounting tabs. So there was a little bit of bending involved in order to kind of get everything to line up and fit together. And then we did reinforce these tabs. So I ran some extra welds around those tabs just to kind of beef them up a little bit because they were a little flimsy. I didn't really care for that. You'll see the OEM fan housing does fit right onto the Megan Racing radiator. Basically OEM fit there. On my fan shroud, I did have to shave one of the ribs off of the top of the plastic shroud here, and I only had to do that because of the aftermarket core support that I've designed. So I basically just shaved one of those plastic fins off. You can see Once the core support is on, you don't even see it, and everything fits nice and smooth and flawlessly together there. So that worked out pretty well. I want to point out and talk about my oil cooler as well. This is a Mishimoto oil cooler with the lines with AN fittings that wrap around and then run up to, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but they run up to where your oil filter screws on to the factory oil cooler assembly. Basically, there's like a sandwich plate that comes with the Mishimoto kit. It's like a universal sandwich plate. You take your oil filter off and take the stud that the oil filter screws on out, and then you install the sandwich plate and then put your oil filter parts back on, and you can now connect your oil cooler lines. They run pretty smooth around in this direction. I did notice a pretty dramatic decrease in oil temps once I installed the oil cooler. I don't have exact temp drops. Mishimoto claims a 20 to 30 degree drop in oil temps when running their oil cooler. I don't know that I saw quite that much of a temperature drop, but it was definitely worth installing. I drive the car quite a bit long distance, and I don't really stop to let the vehicle cool off. I'll drive it 6, 7, 8 hours straight on a trip to a show, and I just installed the oil cooler specifically to keep my oil temps down a little bit on those longer trips. I did notice that temp drop. I run a oil temp gauge on my dash, and the sensor basically screws right into the sandwich plate on the Mishimoto kit. So that's kind of nice. With that being said, this is my engine bay. I have completely rerouted all of my wiring in my engine bay. So I basically unplugged everything in the entire engine bay. I unwrapped all of the wiring harnesses all the way back to where they come through back over here in the firewall. And I rerouted and rewrapped all of my engine harnesses. I basically separated everything that kind of runs up to the top of the engine from the stuff that plugs in to the front of the engine, and just kind of, like I said, rewrapped and ran everything. I thought it was a nice way to clean everything up, and I did have to extend some of the wire harness, so there was some cutting and splicing involved and all of that. It wasn't just unwrap and reroute. I want to point that out. So that was a major project. I don't recommend you try doing that if you've never done it before, because there's a lot of cutting and splicing, and if you do something wrong, you can seriously damage a very expensive engine harness. So yeah, this is my engine bay with the bumper off. There's the bumper. I want to show also, here is my bumper. Here are my bumper supports that I talk about in one of my other videos. These basically completely eliminated bumper sag. These are steel. You can buy these at Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's or whatever. It's like 1.5 inch steel. And then I cut them into 3 equal places and drilled holes. Now those do mount to the bottom of the radiator core support. So in the plastic, underneath the radiator, there are these plastic or these metal inserts into the plastic. That's just an M6 thread, and you can basically bolt right into those from the underside. So that's what I've done. If you're interested in that, you can check out some of my other videos. I did make a video specifically about eliminating bumper sag, but I figured while I have the bumper off, you can see what those look like and how they mount to the bottom of my bumper. They're literally just bolted right in with, like 1/4 bolts. And then the other side is the M6 ones that's thread into the bottom of the core support. So I am currently running and have been running the Turbo Socks FMIC kit. I have been running this intercooler on my car for, like 8 years now with no issues. There's a lot of arguments out there that this intercooler does not maximize airflow, and that it doesn't maximize cooling capabilities. I agree and disagree in some ways. Again, I've been running this intercooler with all my other performance modifications with no issues to the car for nearly 8 years now. This is all the original piping that came with the kit. I'm running an HKS blow-off valve, and I did do the Mac solenoid for the blow-off valve. So I don't know. I bought this intercooler at the time. There was no other intercoolers available. I was one of the original people to get into the group buy from TurboSox for this intercooler. I did recently buy a second Veloster, the wrecked one that you may have seen in my other videos. That Veloster has an 845 Motorsports intercooler on it. I'm kind of throwing around the idea of switching this intercooler out for that. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to. I may, just to see what it changes, if it changes air temps, if it changes airflow, just to see how that intercooler runs. I believe it mounts the same way as this TurboSox intercooler does, so I'll be able to just pull out the bolts that I have and switch the intercooler setup and run that and see what it'll do. So we'll see. I'm kind of in crunch time here. I've got about 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks to get the car finished here before World of Wheels Chicago. So I'm in the process of getting this core support finished and getting the bracket for the hinge set up and getting my hood opening and closing forward. I still have to design a latch mechanism. I haven't decided if I'm going to run one latch in the center or if I'm going to run 2 latches, one on each side. I'm kind of all over the place still with that idea, but just a quick update, and wanted to share with you guys what I've got going on. So I do appreciate everybody for watching and following along with my projects and watching the channel. I've seen tremendous support so far. I have a lot of other cool stuff coming, more content, and a lot more Veloster videos. So if you like what you see, or if you're interested in learning more, leave a comment. Please hit the subscribe button. You can find me on Instagram as well at Steve the Woody Peterson. Here on YouTube at Steve the Woody Peterson. Thanks for watching.